Welcome to Gentle Restorative. My name is Sandra, and would love for you to grab a yoga strap if you happen to have one. If you don't have one and you have anything that resembles one, like a belt or a dog leash perhaps, which I thought of yesterday when I was walking the dogs, might be helpful. But again, of course, if you don't have the props, they're not necessary to do this class. All right, having said that, take a deep breath in. Huge exhale. And just sitting in your space for a moment. I had so much fun drawing oracle cards for you guys last time, which that class is up on YouTube, that I thought we would do it again. We're going to do a different card spread, and I'll teach you how to do it. But what I need you to think about before we get to the cards is what you need an answer to. So as you sit here in your space with your eyes closed, I want you to notice how you feel and notice where the mind is at. And start thinking about, where in your world do you have an issue that you would kind of like some guidance and focus moving towards a solution. Then that will help you come up with what you want to put out to the universe to ask the cards when we draw. I set my intention that whatever we draw for the cards will be the answer you need to hear, even though you're all asking something different. And that's what's really cool about the oracle cards. If you can't think of anything, like life is peachy, you have no issues going on, then maybe you're just asking for some guidance in general. And when we get to the challenge card or situation, it's just for you, generically referring to life. So you have a lot of options here. I don't want you thinking too hard while you're on your mat, but do come up with something that you want to ask. All right, take another deep inhale, hold the breath. Big exhale. Take the arms all the way up. Bring the palms together, release them home to your heart in Anjali Mudra prayer pose. And set your intention for your practice. And then when you're done, go ahead, release the hands, softly open the eyes. Let's come on down onto our backs. So from here, I just want you to hug the left knee in. You can keep the right knee bent or you can straighten it out, totally up to you. And with both hands on that left knee, let's create a vinyasa. Inhale, push the knee into the hands, straighten the arms. Exhale, pull the knee in. Keep going. So as we start to focus on what we're actually doing, we can slow this down immensely. Start to lengthen out the breath. Taking all the time in the world, right? So unlike, working out with weights or something, we're not looking for numbers of repetitions. We're actually trying to slow this down and do less. We're going to do one more, and I don't think you can hear me breathing from that microphone, but I've switched to Ujjayi breath, which you're welcome to do. You certainly don't have to. And when you finish that last one and the knee is pulled in, go ahead and straighten that leg up to the ceiling. We're going to lengthen through both legs. So from both hips, sending energy through each foot. And then slowly release that left leg. So if the right leg stayed bent, go ahead and bend that left leg, set the foot down. If you decided to straighten the right leg, we're going to straighten the left leg. Hug that right knee in. Same thing on this side. Find your vinyasa, right? The word vinyasa is linking movement with breath, so it doesn't always refer to what we typically consider a vinyasa in a vinyasa class, right? Which is going from plank to chaturanga to cobra to dog. We can make anything a vinyasa as long as we're consciously focusing the movement with the inhales and the exhales. All right, one more. Again, when you have that knee pulled in, send that leg up to the ceiling. Send energy out through both legs. And then go ahead and bring that right foot to the mat. The left foot will join if you have that leg straightened out. And then let's go ahead and for a moment, just hug both knees into the heart, Appanasana. Rock it out. And then both feet back to the earth. You're prepping for bridge here. Low back down, shoulder blades slide down. Arms alongside you. Inhale, lift the hips slowly. You might need to do some little bit of realignment, right? The feet are hip distance apart, knees are aiming straight up at the ceiling. Back of the neck has lengthened. Don't turn your head in this pose. Big inhale. Exhale, slowly release. This time, when you lift the hips, take the arms overhead. And as you exhale, hips are coming down, arms are just sliding into scarecrow. Inhale, hips are up, arms reach overhead. Exhale, hips come down, arms slide into scarecrow. Keep going. So here we go, another vinyasa, right? One more, give it your all. Slowly, maybe tightening the glutes, really reaching through the arms. Exhale, hips come down, arms can come all the way back down alongside you. Hug the knees back in. And then go ahead and take the arms back to scarecrow. We're dropping the knees to the left. You know, if you need a prop under the legs, of course, go ahead and grab one. Right shoulder stays down as always. So one of the cool things about Oracle cards, I'm not going to go into my usual discussion about the difference between Oracle cards and tarot cards. If you're not sure, go back and watch my first video on YouTube where you see Oracle cards pop up, because I do go into a lengthy explanation. But what I find interesting about them is I kind of want to relate them to Virasana, hero pose. Maybe in a minute when we're done with the twister, and we'll come back up and we'll do hero pose so we can make the analogy on the mat. But in hero pose, the essence of the pose is to go within, to pacify the mind, to which one might say only a yogi can do. A non-yogi, or I would also say, you know, when I'm not in my yoga space, then my human side also does this, tries to conquer or pacify the outside world rather than the inner mind. I hope that made sense. So when we are working externally, we are unfocused, we are trying to garner control, which we can't have. And, you know, we're all going to be there in some situations, but it's using the yogic tools to pull back in. And I find that the cards are really helpful to do that, because they give the mind some answers and some focus. And then we can really start to kind of delve into what each individual card is trying to say. Not just each word, the definition, but outside of the box, so to speak. And I do find I get my best answers when I'm stressed out, when I remember to sit down and draw cards. I want you to inhale, pull the knees back up to center. Exhale, take them to the other side, to the right. Keep that left shoulder down. So last time we did draw a 3-card spread. We did, strength, heart, challenge. Oftentimes a 3-card spread might be past, present, future. And I wanted to share with you this quote. It's by Teresa Francis Chung. She says, "Divination is the quest to understand more about the past, present, and future. In other words, tarot readings are an attempt to understand ourselves better and discover how we might live better in the future." So the cards aren't the magic. You provide the magic. The cards give you direction and guidance so that you can understand better what's going on within. Take a deep breath where you're at. Now stay right there. And go ahead and take the left arm, bring it all the way over to the right so you're in a fetal position. And when you're ready, go ahead and push your way up. We're going to try out Hero's Pose. And I say try it out because I know it's a seated pose, but it's tough on quads and knees. And so it isn't the friendliest pose for everybody. But here's what I want to point out about this pose. First, we're practicing ahimsa. If you don't want to do this pose, don't do it. But I'm going to encourage you to grab props. So Virasana is, you know, sitting first onto the heels and then leaning forward, take the feet out wide and sit between the feet. You don't have to do this yet. Let me explain the point to it. In sitting here and perhaps suffering, I am dealing with external things, my physical body. So, do my knees like this? Do my hips like this? Like, for right now, in this very instant, my knees are not happy. They weren't happy with me yesterday, so it makes sense. So how do we take this analogy about going within. Those are your props. Your props are the oracle cards. The props are telling you to go ahead and use them so that you're able to pacify the mind. And in pacifying the mind, I pacify the external, the physical body. So just by sitting up on one block, already my knees are much better. My head is not focused on, should I be here, should I not? So I want you to find hero's pose for you using every and any prop you can find that sets your mind at ease. Now, for some of you who really have serious knee issues, the props might not do it. So what do we do then? I know you know the answer. I can hear it. Yes, you don't do this pose. Right? You do what's right for you. And in that way, we also pacify the mind. We do what's right for us. So I'm letting you get situated. You find where you want to be. Remember, in each pose we do for this class, the props are the oracle cards. They're guiding you, giving you focus, and reminding you of what's important. All right, take the arms up. Exhale to the heart. Inhale, right arm up, left arm down. So we're heading into Gomukhasana arms, cow face, right? I'll turn around, bending both elbows and seeing if the hands can find each other behind you. They might not. There's no judgment. You know, when we switch to the other side, there's no way my hands can touch. My left shoulder doesn't like it. So if that's the same for you, you can grab onto your shirt. You could use your yoga strap to grab onto. But we aren't trying to sit up tall and lengthen through the elbows, right? And so what I mean by lengthening through the elbows is try not to let that top arm pull you forward. Even if you feel like you're sitting up straight, is it pushing the head forward? Can you get that arm maybe outside of the head so that you feel free? All right, right elbow up, left elbow down, big inhale. Exhale, release the arms, shake them out. Just close your eyes for a moment. Keep shaking the arms out. Letting go. All right, inhale, both arms up. Exhale to the heart. Inhale, left arm up, right arm down. Same thing, bending at the elbows, doing whatever you can do behind you. Breathe. Make whatever adjustments you need for pacifying the mind. Don't get frustrated. Do something about it. And when you get to an exhale, release the arms, shake them out again. Close your eyes so you can focus on the sensation that you feel in your arms. You can focus on the sensation that you feel leaving your arms, right? Perfect. All right, so let's come out of hero pose and grab your strap. Go ahead and put a loop in it. Remember, if you don't have a strap, just tune me out for a moment. It's not going to be a big deal. Okay, we need the bolster as well. Oh, let's grab the blanket too for fun and games, shall we? All right, I'm going to add the blanket. The bolster's behind me vertically. I'm using the blanket as a pillow. I'm turning, you're already in the right direction, so that my sacrum is touching the bolster. I have my blocks if I want them. I'm going to go ahead and put my whole body through this loop. And then take the legs to cobbler, Baddha Konasana. So feet are together. That strap is down below my hips. Of course, it's probably going to slide up. We're going to have to keep reaching back to adjust that until we get it just right. The straps are over my thighs and the loop goes under my feet. And from here we tighten. And then when you start tightening, you'll realize the strap's going to slide up. So tighten a little bit, take the strap back down. Remember, when you lay back, everything is going to tighten even more. So you might want to give yourself a little slack. I left the blocks out in case you feel like you want them supported as well. So you can slide the blocks underneath the knees. When you're ready, go ahead and slowly lay back. Oh, yeah, this is good. Close your eyes. All right, well, you're there. I'll talk you through this 5-card spread we're going to do. So, like I said, usually when I do 3 cards, I like to draw strength, heart, challenge. The 5-card spread, we're going to be focusing on the first card is the situation or the energy. It will represent the energy around the situation. Okay, so again, helpful if you kind of come up with something you'd like to inquire about. The second card we pull is going to be the challenge. Like, what is going on? What is the challenge with this whole issue? Why do I have an issue with this issue? The third card represents guidance. Where do we need some help? How can we be pointed in the right direction? The fourth card we draw is going to be focus. What do we need to focus our mind and inner energy on to help us out with this particular issue? And then the 5th card represents the outcome. So, and I'll repeat that as we go through. I will also, I'll add it to the video when I edit. So if you want to pause the video, if you're rewatching it, you'll be able to see it. I'll put it on my Facebook page. And if you can't find it, you can always email me, right? So again, be thinking of what is it you want to inquire about. You'll always choose the right cards. And since I'm choosing the cards, I set the intention that, again, these are the best cards for all of us in whatever we're inquiring about, which I think is going to be fun. So I'll be quiet for a moment so you can think. Let's deepen the breath a bit. On your next exhale, consciously soften the hips. It'll be okay. The strap is holding your legs in place. On your next exhale, I want you to imagine you feel gravity gently pulling down on the knees and the outer thighs. On your next exhale, this might be more energetic, but soften the feet. On your next exhale, relax the entire length of the spine. And on your next exhale, relax the head and the face. So consciously soften the muscles in the cheeks and the jaw and the forehead and the eyes. Sometimes when I think I'm relaxed and then I specifically focus on the muscles of the face, I realize, no, I wasn't completely relaxed. So think about just softening, melting. You are a stick of butter in the warm sun. And butter is my favorite thing in the world, which makes you my favorite thing in the world. And I want you just to melt here and let go. Lengthen out the breath even more. Let's even get just a little dramatic with the breath. Super big inhale. Big exhale. I don't want you to get lightheaded, so if that happens, just pause and regroup. Again, big inhale if you're all right. Big exhale. And then let go. Relax the muscles of the face again. See if they've kind of, reconstricted. And then from here, you have a plethora of options. I want to free the feet from the bind, so you might be able to reach your feet, maybe not, it depends how tight this strap is, or grab onto the strap, slowly pull the head up, and then roll your way up. I'm going to set the feet free. I want to move the props out from behind me. I'm going to keep the strap around my waist. I might want to loosen it a little bit here. Again, it depends for each of us individually how tight we had it in the first place. I want to get my my shins in this circle here, and then I'm just tightening slightly, just enough to hold the strap in place so that I still feel free to move, and I can gently roll onto my back. So we'll be in a restorative Apanasana. So go ahead and start tightening that strap. Oops, I keep hitting that thing. Tighten the strap until the legs are being held completely in place. The arms are so free, they can do whatever the heck they want to. I think I'm going to send mine overhead and just tuck my hands under the shoulders. Close your eyes right here. So again, if you don't have a strap, go ahead and keep the hands around the shins so that the legs are not working to stay right here. All right, while you're here, this is your final moment to come up with something you want to ask the universe about. I need to start drawing cards so we can talk through them. And I think, in fact, while you're here, I'm going to release myself here and come up and shuffle the cards. Right? You always want to shuffle the cards between uses. And as I've told you guys a million times, my grandmother always told me never to shuffle a deck more than 3 times. She was talking about playing cards, but I keep that in mind with the Oracle deck too. So. I still wish I could ask her why on earth she thought that was a steadfast rule, but regardless. Okay, so the cards are shuffled. Setting them in front of me while you're still in your restorative pose, happy as can be. I'm just placing my hands on the deck. I want to set my intention that the cards are for you. And then I'm just spreading out the cards. So the first card, remember, that I pull out is the situation. I'll set them on my mat so when we do sit up, you guys can see these. The second card is our challenge. Third card is guidance. Fourth card is focus. Fifth card is outcome. Set the rest of the deck aside. All right, so I have you stuck here in Akvanasana. So go ahead and bring the arms back down if they're somewhere else, and go ahead and loosen that strap so that you can get your knees out. Perfect. And then I'm just going to take that loop out of my strap. I don't mind that I'm still laying on it. I just want to free the strap as well. Go ahead and send both legs all the way up. You can use your hands behind them if you need to. If you need your strap, bring your feet back down, lift your hips, slide it out, and lasso the feet, right? Perfect. One more deep breath here. Exhale, bring the knees back in, set the feet on the earth, tip over to a side. I want you to stay there for 3 breaths, and then push your way back up. We'll be in table. I'm going to turn my cards to face me. They're in a certain order, which I will edit into the video. So the first card I drew is actually in the center because that's the situation, right? Or the energy around that situation. So you thinking about what you want to ask, I want you just, we're in table, close your eyes. If you haven't already, send that message out to the universe. You know, what is it that the cards mean to you? And then when you're done, go ahead and find cat cow. Let's take a look at this first card. So the first card, the situation we've got going on has to do with communication. We drew the throat chakra card. Wow, this could entail a lot of things, right? I think it's safe to say probably most of our situations and issues are caused by a lack of communication. I know that's what's going on in my world. So really interesting draw, totally applicable to all of us, I'm sure. So that is telling me, go ahead and tuck the toes, take this to dog when you're ready. That's telling me that the energy around this situation has to do with not communicating or not communicating well or effectively. So just because you think you have stated the issue to whomever doesn't mean they are getting what you're saying. Perhaps it needs to be reworded. If it's falling on deaf ears, we need a plan B, right? Go ahead, bring the knees down to the earth. Hands forward, one hand print so we can come to a modified plank. And then a mini chaturanga. Perfect. I'm going to slide the hands back a little and lift into baby cobra. So the throat chakra entails not saying what you need to say, saying it non-effectively, which could mean we're just, when we say things and bring out someone's defensive side, that's kind of what I mean by non-effectively. So we need to think this through. Somebody's not hearing what we're saying. We're not hearing what they're saying back. There's a myriad of issues here. And, if that's what is going on with your situation and you ignore it, that chakra will manifest into sinus issues, ear issues, throat issues, back of the neck, mouth. So just pay attention. If that's going on with you physically, you've really got to deal with balancing that chakra back out. Okay, and now I left you in baby cobra. It's all good. Come on down for a moment. Rest your forehead. So the second card, which I've laid out to the left of the situation, is our challenge card, right? Okay, so our challenge is in sharing the love. we might be so overwhelmed by the issue that we feel like we don't even want to share the love, right? In this card, the person's holding it looks like a tiger's eye in the shape of a heart. Tiger's eye is a root chakra stone. That's foundation, that's security. So can you see how this issue you have going on that you asked about could be throwing off your foundation? You don't feel safe anymore. You don't feel secure. Okay, go ahead. Lift the head back up, just the shoulders. I want to take the hands behind us into Yoga Mudra. Little baby half locust here. Breathe. That Share the Love card is bordered by green, which is a heart chakra color. So no coincidence that the person's holding a heart-shaped stone, but also no coincidence because in sharing the love, we have to have self-love. So you won't find any coincidences with the cards and what's on them. Go ahead, release all the way down. Set the right ear on the mat. Relax the arms and shoulders. Breathe. And so, you might need to think a little outside the box. Already, this applies to my issues. Got a communication problem going on. I'm not feeling the love for a particular person. I need to refocus on that because anger is only for sure upsetting and hurting me. So, and same for you, right? The other person doesn't even know you're mad. So I've got to go back to this challenge card. So then we look at the third card. Go ahead and turn your head to the other side. The third card in this draw is placed to the right side of the center situation card. Guidance, clarity of belief. So this is a great card because when we are in a challenge or a situation that's got us a little ticked off or sad or distressed, whatever it is, whatever you asked about, right? There's a lack of focus. I definitely, with my situation, have lost my yogic focus and I need to meander back, which I feel I'm already doing. But this clarity of belief card, right? That's reminding you, you know your truth. You know your true beliefs, your foundation, your core. And I feel like when we get lost, we kind of lose that focus because, remember the pose Virasana, because we've moved externally, right? And so the anger I perhaps have been feeling, that's external. I mean, I feel it internally too, but I'm directing it out. So everything needs to shift back in, which was what Virasana is all about, which is why I incorporated it into this particular sequence, right? We have to grab the props, pacify our mind, and go within. Okay, I know I've left you here. Come on back up, replant the hands by the low ribs, this time forehead to the earth. Widen out the legs. Oops, I've got a bolster there. Widen out the legs to the width of the mat. So this is the other half of the baby locust. Go ahead and slowly lift both legs. I don't want you to lift them too high, and I certainly don't want you to feel a pinch in your low back. If you're feeling that, you need to lower the legs. If you've lowered them and you're grazing the mat and you still feel that pinch, try one leg at a time. And you can kind of switch off as you feel you need to. Couple more breaths. You got this. Good job. Relax the legs. Push all the way up and then back into embryo. So in embryo, the arms reach down alongside the feet, forehead to the earth. Again, we can compare this to Virasana. If you don't like this pose, your head doesn't reach the ground, like that would probably stress me out. I don't want my head just hanging there. It's uncomfortable on my shoulders in this pose. What are we grabbing? A prop. We're pacifying the mind because we've been compassionate and shown self-love with the pose, right? Okay. So let's look at the fourth card. This is what we need to focus on. I love oracle cards, don't you? You don't even know what the card is. Just breathe. Just breathe. My situation had me up half the night, and this is all I did. This is it, because this is the only thing that would distract my mind. Deep breathing. Just breathe. This card shows a woman, she's holding her hand out, and then it is like, I guess you could interpret that as her mirror image next to her. And again, when I edit this, you guys can watch the video back, you'll see the cards up close. Her mirror image, it looks like she's touching her soul. Yeah. And that reminds me of another quote that I want to give to you. But first, I want you to go ahead, stay in embryo. Take your hands to your sacrum. So palms down, right on the back, low back part of your hips, right? And then let's go ahead and slowly come up all the way onto the knees. From here, pull the elbows behind you. Big inhale, lift. Exhale, come on down into embryo. See if you can keep the hands on the sacrum. Breathe. Good job. Inhale, come back up. And exhale it back down. Plant the hands. Push your way back up. Notice, we ended up on the heels again. If you want to come back into Virasana just to kind of get back in touch with that analogy, you can. If you're going to and you don't like the pose, grab your props. You don't have to come back into this pose. Where we're heading next is going to be seated with the legs in front of us comfortably. So I'm going to pause here for a moment if this is where you want to head. What are you doing while you're sitting here? You're just breathing. And then if you are in hero pose, let's go ahead and get the legs freed. Perfect. I want to take them out wide into a V. Upavista Konasana. And then let's grab some props here because we're going to set ourselves up in a happy place. Yes, there's a happy place in this position. If you have a bolster, I want you to take the far end out in front of you so that you can tip that bolster and rest your chin on it. If you do not have any props, you're going to just bring your hands to wherever feels right. Find where that fold is okay for you, and just close your eyes. All right. Oh, I wanted to share with you this quote. Oh yeah, this is perfect because it goes with what I was saying. About this card, about the woman touching her own soul, making that interconnection. So Philippe Saint-Genot wrote, "A lot of people think that the tarot is about being psychic and getting so-called psychic powers. Actually, the original meaning of psyche is soul. So the real power of the tarot is that it can help you to live your psyche, your soul, with more creativity, more awareness, more imagination, more clarity, more understanding, and more joy." Isn't that the perfect quote for that card? And you saw me shuffle. I had no idea what we were drawing. But I bet you're curious to find out how this all turns out, right? That fifth card is at the top of the situation card. So let's find out what the outcome is. Well, this certainly taps into everything else we've drawn. Listen. So this is clarifying to me that our initial situation or issue going on that's affecting the throat chakra has to do with listening skills, which is kind of nice that it narrowed it down for us because we didn't know if we weren't speaking effectively, if we weren't communicating enough, or, it was too much, too little, etc. The listen card. This is about us, right? Interesting that the person in this card, and again, you'll see it when I edit the video, is wearing what looks like, it looks like a banded amethyst around the neck. And so amethyst is a master healing stone. It works with the crown chakra. The crown chakra is about your belief in a higher power. And when I think about the crown chakra, I think about asking for unseen guidance, right? So you can interpret that however you would like. I'm not suggesting anything. If you have a belief in one God and that's who you want to ask, fine. If it's multiple gods, fine. If it's no God, fine. It could be an energy, a light. Uh, if you believe in angels, spirit guides, archangels, whatever it is. If it's, just like an energy that connects us all, right? Whatever it is. That stone around the neck makes me think about listening to the guidance of those I cannot see. I'll let that sink in for a second. And then if you're super happy right here, stay here. If you feel like you want to come a little deeper into your fold, you can. I want you to keep it supported though, so that just might simply mean lowering your bolster and adding other props. You don't have to move, right? So I think this is a very interesting layout of cards that very specifically got to the core of what might be going on and what we need to focus on. Um, remember we're focusing on the breath, and that could simply be watching the breath. It could be deepening the breath. It could be counting the breath. It could be any avenue of pranayama that you're familiar with. Um, and just using that to regain clarity and calm. Again, Teresa Francis Chung wrote, the cards give you images and symbols to focus your vague intentions and transform them into action. Your will is the magic. So it's our intention, right? In other words, you are the magic, she writes. If you can create something in your heart and then act on it to make it happen, that is magic. Very simple, very straightforward, no witches, no spells, and no broomsticks. Sorry if that part disappoints you. All right, come on back up. So now that you have the answers you need, it is your intention, your will, your action that moves you forward to this being resolved, right? Okay, setting the props aside again. And draw the legs back in. However you want to sit is totally fine. Close your eyes again for a moment. Deep breath in and let it go. So since we drew the breathing card, it would make sense for us to add in some pranayama right now, wouldn't you say? I think what I feel we should do is alternate nostril breathing. Not necessarily everyone's favorite. It's not my favorite, but it's for balance. It's specifically for balance. It balances the left and right side of your body and your masculine and feminine energies. So I think that would be wise. So choose a hand that you want to use. Thumb and pinky stay out. The rest of the fingers are tucked down so the knuckles can rest on the bridge of your nose. Close off one nostril. Inhale. Exhale. Close off the other nostril. So we're switching. Inhale, exhale. So keep going. I want you to notice which side of the nose is easier to breathe through, because there's going to be one. Keep going. Give me 3 more cycles of that. When you're done, you'll just relax your hands. And then in thinking about which side of the nose was harder to breathe through, right? For me, it was the left side. That's the feminine side. That's the self-care, nurturing side. And that makes sense because right now my masculine side has taken over. It's trying to release the anger from yesterday and moving towards these cards and sharing the love and compassion with myself. I need the feminine side to come through stronger for me right now. So how does that apply to you? Feminine side, nurturing, creativity, self-care, compassion. Masculine side, control, tasks, like a to-do list. This has got to get done. This has got to get done. It goes in this order. So in knowing which side is in control right now, we understand what we have to do, especially with our cards, to refine balance. Slow, deep inhale. Huge cleansing exhale. And when you're ready, go ahead, softly open your eyes and set up your space for Shavasana the way you need it to be right now. So as you settle into your space for Shavasana and you close your eyes, I really want you to take your focus to your ears, right? Our outcome had to do with listening. We are not going to get to the solution until we open up the ears, right? So what I want you to do is see if you can focus on the most far away sound you can hear right now. And then I want you to focus on a sound that's quite a bit closer. And then I want you to bring that home. I want you to focus in on a sound that's coming from you. It could even be a grumbling or growling stomach. It could be your heartbeat. It could be your own breath. If you can't hear anything, you could take your hands and cover up your ears so you can hear the breath. And then just stay right there with that inner spirit, that inner psyche, soul, and head off into Shavasana. You'll hear my voice when it's time to come back. Keeping your eyes closed. What I wanted to share with you is while you are in your quiet space, I was looking more carefully at the picture of the clarity of belief card, the one that provides us with guidance. And there were a couple things I wanted to point out that also might be helpful to you. There's a gentleman standing. He has one hand on his heart. The other hand is reaching out, and that hand is releasing a green butterfly. There's green energy coming off his hand. And then down by his thighs, there's this, it looks like a swirl of red energy, but it's shaped like a heart. And so butterflies are symbolic of change, metamorphosis, right? Release. And so with his hand on his heart, this implies to me that he's willing to send his heart free, set it out there, see if it's okay. He's like, it's trust, it's belief, it's faith, right? And then that red heart of energy is, we associate red with hearts, but red is root chakra. And so he feels safe enough and secure enough to do that because of his clarity of belief. Take a deep breath in. Let it go. So which butterfly are you setting free today? Go ahead, bring some movement back into the body. And if you want to, you can roll into a fetal position. If you don't want to, you stay right where you are. Remember, we're focusing on the breath per our card. So deep inhale, big exhale, and then slowly make your way back up. We will take one more deep breath, but first set your intention that the exhale releases everything left. Breathe it in and let everything go. Inhale, take the arms up, bring the palms together, and exhale them back home to your heart in prayer pose. The light in me bows to the light in you. And when I'm in that place in me and you're in that place in you, then we become one. Namaste.